So most people nowadays are pretty much brain dead losers. And I'm not gonna lie, I was one too for pretty much my entire life, bro. I was a skinny fat YouTube Shorts kid, I had self-esteem issues, and I'm not gonna lie to you, if you are in the same position as I was a few years ago, then you completely deserve it. You deserve all the pain that you're going through, and I say this out of love because, bro, I relate to you so much. I know what it feels like to be this addict who has zero motivation to actually do the good habits. I can relate to that feeling of being fat shamed and having to play it off like it's all good, but guess what, bro? In the past 2 years, I have lost over 15 pounds. I became the valedictorian with the highest marks in my entire class. I've healed my relationship with my parents. And I know the one singular thing that you're struggling with that if you don't fix right now will actually keep you stuck for years, maybe even decades, bro. And that one thing that you need to know about is pleasure. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why pleasure is literally killing you and how I got out of this cycle of addiction so that you can just copy me and then get the same results that I have. Because let me just tell you a story right now. It's 3 years ago and I'm sitting on my desk grinding away. I'm living the dream teenage life during COVID where, you know, you're playing video games for 8 hours a day, you're watching YouTube, eating junk food, nobody's gonna stop you, have all this time. And you know what, while I was doing that, it actually did feel pretty good, you know? But as soon as I put those YouTube Shorts away, as soon as I unwinded to go to sleep, I felt this sense of shame, of almost like hollowness within me after doing all of that. It doesn't make sense, right? I'm doing all of these things that feel so pleasurable, right? I'm not studying because it feels hard, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not exercising because it feels bad. I'm doing all of these things that feels good instead. And yet I still feel like shit afterwards. The problem that I had for so long was that I was always looking for the next instant fix of pleasure, the instant rewards, the instant dopamine hit. But what's so interesting about that is that that actually leads to you feeling worse later on. You know, whenever, let's say you're watching YouTube Shorts and you've been watching it for 4 hours, you've seen all these funny videos. As soon as you put the phone down, you're just gonna start feeling this hit of demotivation. You feel so empty. And that's all because every single time you're choosing pleasure now, you're inadvertently choosing pain later. Every single time I did something that felt good right now, my future self would actually be in a worse spot, right? And that leads to such a huge cycle of addiction because you see that you're in a worse spot, and so you try to make yourself feel better with these things that make your life even worse. And so you're just continually just going through this cycle of consuming more, feeling worse. And then what happens is that even the things like video games that were supposed to make you feel so good just feel sort of boring now. And so what you need to realize is that this is the completely wrong approach that you need to fix right now. The thing that actually ended up changing my life for good was just that I switched my mindset from trying to make myself feel good right now to making myself feel good in the future. When you're always fixed on making yourself feel good right now, you start losing respect for yourself because now all of a sudden you've gone through the entire day without doing a single bit of exercise. And so now you're even more fat than you were. And I get it, bro. It's hard to do what I'm telling you right now. I know it sounds so easy to say to just study more or exercise more, but you need to actually understand the reason for why you're doing these bad habits like video games, junk food. Whenever you play video games, you're not just playing because of the video game. You're playing it because the feeling it gives you. It gives you that sense of rewards, of pleasure, of making some progress. And what happens is that when you get that feeling from video games, you're not going to try as hard to get it in real life, right? Why go through the pain of 100 workouts when you have junk food right in front of you? Why study when you can just watch YouTube Shorts and get that same feeling of satisfaction, right? But here's the really interesting thing that I've learned over the past 2 years. When you start treating your life as, like, let's say a video game, and you start making progress, it starts to build something called momentum. That's that feeling you get when you suddenly look in the mirror and see after a few weeks you just lost like 5 pounds and you can see you're a little bit slimmer. These addictions that you have are simply a way for your mind to get some sort of feeling that it otherwise lacks in real life. And so what I found was that it's just so interesting, right? When I started doing the good habits more, like I started meditating, I started making progress in real life through exercise and reading and learning, it sort of gave me that same feeling of when I was playing video games. And so all of a sudden, as soon as you start making progress in real life, as soon as you get just a little bit of momentum in life, that actually makes it so much easier to do these good habits that I'm telling you to do. I suddenly didn't actually need video games anymore. I haven't even felt the urge to play video games anymore because for the past 2 years, I've been treating my life like it was a video game. And you know what's so cool about all of this? It only takes a few weeks, bro. That's all the time it takes to replace all of your addictions with the good habits. Because, bro, you have to understand, nobody has ever eaten their way to happiness. Nobody has ever played video games until they reached enlightenment or something. All these addictions are going gonna do is progressively make your life worse. You're gonna have to let go of these addictions, bro. And it's gonna sound so hard to do that because you have this attachment to like Brawl Stars. You have this attachment to video games. But I'm telling you right now, if you stick to the protocol that I'm just about to tell you about, in just a few weeks, you will all of a sudden be able to quit all of your addictions like that. And so I'd recommend you to just stay with me just a few more minutes because the last part of this video could genuinely change your life. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start doing things that benefits our future self. But here's the key thing about this step. You're not gonna try and do what I like to call a level 50 task. So for example, don't try and study for like 2 hours because let me just give you an analogy. In a video game, would you try and beat the final boss at the start of the game? No, right? Because you don't have the skills, you don't have the XP for that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to treat this process almost like it is a video game. What we're going to do is instead of simply going straight to that level 50 3-hour exercise session and then quitting within like a few days, we're going to start really small with these habits and then level up and work our way up over the next few weeks. So pick 3 main habits that you know are going to improve future you situations. So let's just pick exercise, reading, and studying. So those are the 3 habits that we're going to try and build some XP in so that you actually do them consistently. Because here's a really cool thing about, let's say, studying. When I started studying, I used the same principle. So I started at just like 10 minutes a day. But after just a few weeks, as I stacked up more XP, my capacity, my like mana bar for studying went up. So instead of it being like, let's say, a 20-minute study session, it became a 45-minute study session. And what's really interesting is that when we start small and only do like 5 minutes of it per day, we're still getting XP. It's just a smaller amount of it. And so all you need to do is just stay consistent with 10 minutes of studying for, let's say, 1 month. And then all of a sudden you've leveled up and now you can do 20. And what this is going to reinforce in you is it's going to start actually building some momentum. Because what's going to happen is that after a few weeks of doing this, you're going to see that, hey, after exercising for 15 minutes every day, I'm actually disciplined enough to do maybe a 30-minute workout every single day. Don't focus on the end goal, right? We're not going to try and get jacked in a month because that's not how it works, right? But what we can actually do with this is we can start becoming that person who can get jacked. We're getting closer to building that identity. And this is such an important thing, right? When you've been exercising consistently every single day, even if it was just for 30 days, it's like you've updated your character. It's like you've added like more XP to that trait of consistency, which allows you to then make more progress, build more momentum. And I promise you, if you do this, you are literally above 80% of teens already. Just by you watching this video, you don't know how much more respect I have for you because you've literally gone ahead and watched a video that could change the entirety of your life with an open mind. Like, bro, if you actually go ahead and just do a few minutes of exercise today because I made this video, then you don't realize how much more respect I have for you right now. Because guess what? Nobody else is doing this right now. Everybody else is doing the exact opposite, just like you, right? They're doing things that make them feel good right now while making their life worse in the future. So think about it. While their lives are going downhill, your life is actually going to go uphill by doing this. And take it from me, right? As somebody who has, again, become the valedictorian for my class, beating like 100 other kids in school, losing 15 pounds as a teen and like completely quitting all of my addictions, I can tell you right now that if you follow through with this, your life will not be the same. And you will literally beat 90% of teens just by watching and implementing some of the things in this one video. And so yeah, bro, that's all I have for today. Go down and subscribe if you found value in this video. My goal is to help 10,000 teens get rid of their addictions. And so if you want more videos just like this from somebody who could actually relate to you, then go down and subscribe right now. You will not regret it. As always, bro, my name's Atharv. See you soon.